Hi, my name's Christina Waters, and I'm the founder of Rare Science. It's a nonprofit organization focused on finding accelerated treatments for kids with rare disease. And I'd like you to meet my mom, Tonita Waters, and she's here today to really demonstrate how to make rare bears. And rare bears are this wonderful activity that we do for our kids that enroll in our program. I'm not going to tell you a lot about that right now, but what I want to do is introduce you to one of our greatest partners here at Agility Clinical, and let's go meet her now. Hey, hi, Ellen. Great to see you. I wanted you to meet my mom, Tonita Waters. Mom, this is
Very nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. Ellen is one of our greatest partners and sponsors for the program Rare Science, and she also has a program here at Agility Clinical called Agility Clinical Applied Advocacy, and we work together to find how we can accelerate finding cures for kids with rare disease. And so, Ellen, thank you so much for having us today. We're actually really happy that we can use the conference room for my mom to actually make a how to make a rare bear video.
Well, we're happy to let you use the conference room.
So what I wanted to start with was actually, before we get into how to make these great bears, is what is the Rare Bear Army? And so the Rare Bear Army is volunteers that we have been finding all over that have been wanting to join to make the bears, to donate fabric, donate stuffing, or any materials. And what's so special about the program, I think that we've both seen, is that each of the bears, which we'll go over, have a serial number, and these serial numbers are linked to a child in our program. So if you're a quilter that's making a unique bear from Remnant Fabrics, this unique rare bear will go to just as unique and rare of a child, and you will get a picture back of your bear with the child. So it makes it a really special program. We also have bears that we will be making that will also be used for donating to research. Right. And so again, we're looking to really build this Rare Bear Army. And so what happens when you join a Rare Bear Army is you get a packet in the mail, and within this packet, there's all kinds of things in here. But the first thing is a certificate of appreciation of being a rare bear maker, because it's really important to us to build a community of support with the rare bear makers themselves and also with these children. We also have in here some information about Rare Science and what our research is and how we help these children. And also in here is a pattern that is actually the Simplicity pattern, 5461. And Simplicity has been an amazing sponsor and will be donating patterns for our program. In addition to this, you will receive a very small packet. And within this packet is the Rare Bear number, the serial number. They're very small, and that will be assigned to the actual Rare Bear maker and a child. And what we've done with each of our children, when they enroll in our program, we actually find out what kind of colors they love and their hobbies. And so that's kind of been guiding all of the different diverse and unique rare bears that we've been making. And so my mom today is going to show how to place the ribbon, because it's really important that it stays in the bear and that we can make sure that it's tracked and that photo gets back to our quilters. And then the other piece in this packet is actually the fabric for the feet of our bears. And my mom's also going to show us how to do that. And so there's two swatches, one for each of the feet, and we'll show the alignment. And the fabric is actually a very small pattern made from our logo, Rare Science. And we're going to talk a little bit about the very special sponsor that is helping us, Spoonflower. Spoonflower is a digital printing service based in North Carolina that allows you to upload your own designs and print them on fabric, wallpaper, and gift wrap. it is really amazing. I'm amazed at like just all of the different designs that you can actually see on their website by all of these very unique people that use their service. So, and then most importantly, in this packet is the instruction manual for the Rare Bear Army. We're not going to go through all the pages, but one of the most important pages is what is in your packet, the FAQs, the frequently asked questions about how to make a bear, which we're going to go over today, and then also the very special instructions that need to be followed. So even though all of our bears are unique, they're all made in a similar way. They all have the same look and feel. So, Mom, I'm looking at these instructions, and one of the things, based on your experience of making things for kids, was what type of fabric is needed to make these bears to ensure that they're, going to last a long time.
Right. All of the bears are made from 100% cotton, and it's a type of a quilter's cotton. It's a good quality. They will stand abuse and mini washings, and they're filled with a washable polyfiber, and the fabric comes in many prints and designs that are good for children.
Yeah, and we talked about that. We have a local group of quilters that we've been working with, and they're so fun. But one of the questions that they asked is, on the fabric design, what would guide, they have a lot of different remnants that they would use, these unused pieces of fabric, but how do they select maybe for a bear? I know in the instructions here it says child appropriate. What would that, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of the things that are on your bears.
The child appropriate with the quilters and with what I do is things that look happy and perky and colorful, and in most instances we'll be able to find out about the child and, like Chris said, what their hobbies are, and if they have a special color. Just had somebody that loved pink, and so her bear was in the pink tones, but I see that I have kind of got into strawberries, which I love, and
yeah, I love that
these
one.
are happy and perky, and the polka dot guy has a big tummy, and this one has bumblebees on it and polka dots, so it's things that coordinate together, but would be happy for children.
So where would I start if I was to make a bear?
Well, I would suggest that you start with the head and get the head out of the way.
Yeah, how do we start with the head?
This is the head, and it has two side pieces, which are right here, here, and here, and you would sew those together at this center seam, and I have gone ahead and done that. What we're going to do right now is add the center area where the nose is, or the snout, and this is an area where you're going to have to fit in some fabric and go a little slow around the curve, so we're going to go ahead and do that. When I start to sew things like this, I do cut multiples up so I can get a number of them done at one time. And I like to back stitch on all my seams because of the stress that the seams go through, so if you have some extra stitching at each end, then it's going to help secure the fabric in place. And in attaching your ears, they go in your center front, off to the side. Make sure that I usually take that center front seam, I'll divide it in half, and then I'll place the ears. There are dots on the pattern, tells you the placement of the ears, and if you want to, you can stuff them with just a little bit of stuffing, or if you have some batting you want to use to put in there, and then you're going to baste with your machine around the top edge, and then your ears will perk up and look like everybody's. And then we're going to add the back piece. Anytime that you're doing a seam where it's going to have some stress on it, like this will have stuffing inside of it, I'm going to be sure and back stitch to secure that seam really well. The seam, the stitch width that I use on my sewing machine is 2.5. It's a good stitch. It's not too tight. It's not too loose, and it's really good for supporting the fabric on the bears.
Yeah, I can imagine the kids will be walking around and playing with these bears. It has to be sturdy.
Right, it does. It does have to be sturdy. We're going to turn right side out. And the head is attached a little later on. Actually, it's one of the last things done, and we'll cover that.
Wow, that's great. And that's some fancy fabric.
Yeah.
I like it.
So there's your snout and your head. It doesn't look like much now, but it will when it's stuffed. I've gone ahead and stitched the front seams together, and so when you open it up, this is what you're going to have on each side of the bear. This one's plain, all of them plain, yeah.
Oh, I see.
A lot of times I'll have, I've gone up to 4 different fabrics on a bear, but they all coordinate. They all have the same colorings in them. So what we're going to do is add the feet on this. And one thing I'm going to do first is show you how to put the logo in, the fabric with the logo. And I'm going to shove this back a little bit. I'm going to open. I've gone ahead and stitched the leg. Make sure that you leave your opening for stuffing on the back, and that also goes for the arms. Each one on your pattern will say stuff to here, and then you leave that area opening and stuff it. So what I'm going to do here is put the logo in. I found that if I cut my logo and it's an up and down, the print is up and down, and I divide it into 4 sections. And so the first section will go in the front seam, like that. And the back one to the back seam. And if I found that if I divide it into quarters, that it works really well getting it around.
Sewing it around.
Sewing it around the foot.
This is the part that's sewn onto the body, and then the bottom has the already sewed fabric with the Rare Science logo, which makes them really unique and fun. I love that.
Make sure it's all caught. Okay, you want to turn that out?
Oh, I have a
side
job.
out. Right
Okay.
side out.
Okay.
And we're going to be putting them.
Look at that. That's great. All right, so we're doing well. We've got two legs with the soles on. Part of the body and the head.
Right. So
All
now
right.
we're going to add these legs to the body part. And you want to bring your front seam to the back seam. And you want to make sure that the toe is against the tummy. If you have worse it around, then you're going to be having the heel back there. But you want to.
So you have backward legs. That's not good.
You don't want to walk backwards. So you're going to make sure your toe is against the tummy, and matching all your notches and dots on the pattern. You're going to secure it down. And we'll put the other one in here. Find your center fronts and backs. Toe to the tummy. Match your knots and dots. The Simplicity pattern that we're using is an excellent pattern, and it's very easy to read. The only difference with what we're doing is setting in that tag. So this is the legs attached to the front of the body, and make sure that you follow your notches and dots on the pattern to where you have your placement. And be sure that your toes poke out, or when you're sewing them on, they're into the tummy.
Makes sense. Very cute.
Yeah.
All right. So what's next?
Well, let's go. Let's put the tag in. And this will be in the back. And the body piece, the back body piece, has some darts, which I've already done. I've already sewn those in. And the back center seam, you're going to come down about 1.5 inches on the seam allowance, and you're going to stitch from the neck edge down about 1.5 inches, and then you're going to set, let me pull out the tag here, you're going to set the little tag in right at the end of that stitching. And so you're going to sew from the neck edge down, and you're going to stick the tag in about 1.5 inches down from that stitching. And you want to make sure that it's secured really, really tight, because we don't want anybody to be able to pull this out. One thing, it'll leave a hole.
Yeah, so we were talking about this, that this is really an important piece where it shouldn't be in one of the hand-stitched areas where, you know, maybe there had been an access for stuffing, but really in one of the machine-sewn stitches.
Right, right. So I'm going to come over here at the end of it. I'm going to sew a few stitches. I'm going to back stitch to hold it in place, because this is also an area that we're going to have, that the stuffing will go in. A quarter of an inch is your seam allowance, and we're just going to go all the way up to the neck edge and back stitch. We're going to come up from the bottom, and back stitch, and now you have your tag in.
Oh, that's great. It's really secure. So yeah, can we show, I really want to show everybody how this is, and also the orientation, because what you've done is really have, you know, when you fold it over, you can actually read Rare Science, Rare Bear number 1039, so that you aren't attaching it, you know, the opposite way.
Right.
So
right,
it really
right.
is, I think, really sturdy and in there, and I just think that that's a really critical part for us.
Okay, so now we're going to be attaching the front and the back of the body together, and you want to be sure you have attached your legs. Remember, you want to be sure that they're up in the body section, and you want to put them to where you cannot catch them in the stitching of the side seams. So I'm going to bring the seam of the front and the back together at the bottom.
So it's almost like the legs are in the body pocket.
They
like
are
in a pocket.
They are, and we're going to keep them there for just a minute. And when we get all done, everything will pop out. It's like one of those pop-out books. Okay, so we're going to sew around. So I'm not going to attach. Well, I am going to attach one arm. Let's do one arm. So the way you put your arms on, you have your front and your back all attached already, but you're going to now go to your arm, and it's going to go in up here, and it's going to, it'll be on the side, and you'll just stitch it there, and then you turn the whole thing. All right, now we have our body with our legs hanging down. Our body is sewn together. The tag is on. We have our opening here for stuffing, and that will go into the head and the main body of the bear. Now we're going to add the arms, and they are just lightly tacked on, because they'll also be reinforced when we add the head. So when you do your bear, remember this. think we will do bear.
Do you think?
Yeah. All right. So again, there's your arm. There's the hole for stuffing, and the other arm will go on this side. And then we're going to go to adding the head. And the head is going to be, this will be wrong side out. Again, we'll pull this out, stuff it back in there. And you want to drop the head right side in, and you're going to drop the head, and I'm going to switch to this little bear because I've got the head all in place, and we're going to just sew around and make magic happen. Take the pins out. And an important part is when you're sewing on the bears, make sure you get all of your pins out. I always go and squish it real tight to make sure that I have gotten the pins out. And so I'm looking for my opening, and I find a pin down here. We're going to turn it right side out, the whole thing. Arms and legs are coming out, head's coming
Look at
out.
that. There's a bear.
Sewn bear. And one of the last things you're going to do is the eyes and the nose, and they are all done with embroidery floss, and I believe it's a cotton thread. And I take a button. I have a whole jar of buttons, but I take a button to get the right size I want, and I will lightly go around where it's supposed to go and then embroider it in. And we don't like to use buttons or anything for children, so we do embroider them all. And then the nose is also embroidered, and I prefer to do the eyes and the nose after the bear is stuck. Too firm on it, but nice and soft and cuddly.
Wow. Well, Mom, gosh, thank you so much for walking through how to make one of our rare bears, and I look forward for hearing from all of you out there that want to join the Rare Bear Army. So thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Mom.
you. You're welcome.